Hi guys, welcome to Love Me Some Cooking with Vicki. And today it's Easter. So I don't know about you, but every year I basically suffer from that rare disease called cranial rectal inversion. I'm going to give you a second to think about that one. Break the words apart. Cranial rectal. But anyhow, because you can't figure out what do you make. You made Thanksgiving turkey and then you made a Christmas ham and it's Easter. What do you do? So this is a spring type meal. So what I've done is I bought a 3-pound ribeye roast. I've had it sitting in my sink for about 2 hours. You want that meat to come up to room temperature before you put it in a scalding hot oven. I've got my oven to 475 degrees, as high as you can get it. If yours goes to 500, cram it in there. But you're going to put that in there as hot as you can get it, and then after about 30 minutes, 20 to 30, we're going to crank the heat back down to 350 without opening that door with our trusty little meat thermometer, and then we want the internal temperature to be 120 degrees. So let me explain a little bit to you about the ribeye roast. Let me show it to you. All I've got on this is salt and garlic pepper. That is it. You know me. I love me some salt and garlic pepper. And I'm going to put inside here these roast beef drippings. Now, let me explain. If you're fortunate enough to live by a great butcher, I myself travel 30 minutes to go over the west side of town, locally around here, to go to a place called Langen's Meat. But the boys there were nice enough to let me go ahead and get some of their beef drippings. So we're going to put that at the bottom of the pan. And now we're going to insert this meat thermometer. And all we want it to go to, sounds like your alarm in the morning, I swear I'm going to punch it. But what you want to do is stick your meat thermometer in your meat. Okay? And then we're going to set this for 120 degrees. That's it. It's going to carry over for about 10 minutes, or for about 10 degrees. So we want it right about 130. And the beautiful thing about this is the fact that this cuts about, I'd say 6 to 7 steaks, depending on the size that you're going to do. So it's perfect for a small gathering. You can obviously go bigger. This is a 3-pound. But when you cut it, the ends are like more for my mother. She doesn't like her meat red. But the closer you get to the center, it's almost like everybody gets their own, special kind of meat to where it's cooked to the temperature that they want. So you can't go wrong with it. This is going to take probably about an hour and a half from start to finish. That's also making sure that we go ahead and let it rest for 20 minutes after cooking it. About 20 to 25 minutes per pound. And like I said, got my heat cranked up in my oven to 475, put in there for about 20 minutes. So set your timer on your oven, not this one. Set your timer. After 20 minutes, without opening up the door, put the heat down to 350. And then it'll go for about another 40 minutes, and then you're done. Okay guys, now the side items that we're going to make for our Easter dinner is going to be a wonderful springtime asparagus salad. It's got pencil thin asparagus, red onion, pecorino romano cheese, salt and garlic pepper, red wine vinegar, and extra virgin olive oil. And then we're going to go ahead later and we're going to make mashed potatoes with boursin cheese inside. So first off, let me explain something. When you're dealing with asparagus, do you see this? The bottom? The way that they show you how to do asparagus is you take it from tip to end and you crack it. And wherever that cracks off is what you're not going to use. Don't let my husband tell you the story about when I didn't know how to work with asparagus and I cooked all these and threw all these away. Don't believe anything he says. Okay? But anyhow, so what you're going to do is you kind of can figure out that's about where you're going to end up cutting. Well, what we're going to do is just cut off the bottom. That's why you keep it on that little rubber band at the end, because there's usually another one at the top. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these asparagus and start from the tip. And you're going to cut all the way down through these. And when you put these in this bowl, from a distance, it's actually going to look like peas. And it's raw, so we're not cooking it. Just remember, watch your fingers. So look at it. It looks like peas. Isn't that kind of cool? We're going to throw all these in this bowl. And I rinsed these asparagus off. I just want you to know that. They were sitting in my colander for a while. So just because it still had the rubber band on it, I made sure I got to the bottom. So we're going to put all this asparagus in here. And then what we're going to use is pecorino romano cheese. Now let me tell you another little story about this cheese. And this has a casing around the edges. So you just want to take your knife and just go real thinly on each side, just the edges, here, here, and here, and make sure you get that off, and then you're just going to grate it. So it made this much cheese, believe it or not. So in here I have one red onion, a small red onion chopped. We're going to put that all in here. And then we're going to add salt and garlic pepper. Imagine that. Remember, we're cooking, not baking. So we can just wing it. Okay. And then we're going to put our cheese in here. All of it. I know it looks like a lot, but man, this stuff is so good. Then we're going to take extra virgin olive oil. Just drizzle it. And then we're going to use our red wine vinegar. And this is the weird thing. This actually, the vinegar almost cooks the asparagus. Because all we're going to do, and you're going to put, I'd say, shoot, probably almost a quarter of a cup when we're all said and done. So you're going to shake this in here. Get that cheese nice and wet. Yep, that's how we use about that. Give or take. And then you're just going to stir it up. And then we're going to put this in our refrigerator until it's dinner time. And that asparagus, it will be cooked a little bit by that vinegar, so it'll soften. And it is fantastic. This is such a good springtime meal. I'm telling you, you really want to impress some people, make this for your holiday. This looks so good. Alright, put the lid on and set it in your refrigerator until it's ready. And it's probably going to be about an hour and a half, so that'll be a perfect time. And then we'll get started on our mashed potatoes. Alright guys, we've got one more potato. So I've got 8 potatoes in here. And now I'm just going to cut it up and put it in the pot with the rest of it. Can you hear my dog? Crazy little nut. Alright, and after it comes to a boil, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of salt, kosher salt to it, okay? And it'll take about 8 to 10 minutes for this to cook up and be ready for us to mash. And we're actually going to run it through a food mill. So I'm going to show you how to work this here in just a minute. Okay? Okay guys, I've taken the potatoes out of the boiling water, and look, it only took probably 10 minutes after it came to a rapid boil, and that's when we seasoned the water. But look, you just want it fork tender to where it kind of breaks apart. Okay, that's how you want it. And our roast is sitting over here tinted with foil, and it's already at 135 degrees. We pulled that bad boy out at 120. So letting it carry over, it will continue to cook itself, especially a large cut of meat like that. So I'm going to take our potatoes and bring them over here. Now I'm going to show you how to work this food mill. This really is a neat contraption. Put it right over your container or your pot like this. Like I said, it turns like this, then you go back and forth. You can use this for tomatoes. If you're crushing tomatoes, you can also use this for potatoes. Now, when I'm doing this, the wonderful thing about this is the fact that it makes the lightest and fluffiest potatoes. My mom works with a hand mixer. Andy's dad, my husband's dad, uses a potato masher. All you need is a wooden spoon. That's it, after you run it through this bad boy, so it's fantastic. So I'm going to take it by a couple tablespoons. It takes a couple minutes to do this. But boy, is it worth it. So, so good. And then we're just going to work it in. See how it comes out? Some people call this a food mill. Others call it a ricer because it comes out looking like little pieces of rice. Add a little bit more. And in the microwave, I took a cup and a half of milk, and I just put it in the microwave to get the chill off with about 4 tablespoons of softened butter. Because you never want to put cold milk. Look at that mound. It looks like Parmesan cheese or rice. Alright, we are almost done. Woo! Okay. So like I said, in here is butter and milk. Look, I heated it up and it just started to separate. No big deal. And this boursin cheese. Let me tell you, So you're going to take this entire little container of it, which like I said is about 5.2 ounces. They sell it like this, and they also sell it in the, you know, like a little Tupperware container. This is plenty big. So then you're going to add a little bit of warmed milk and butter. Ha! I just realized buttermilk. It's like my own. And then a little garlic pepper. And about 3 tablespoons of chopped chive. And you just stir it. Matter of fact, you fold it over. And then if you need more buttermilk, you've got it handy. Which I'm going to need some. But I have to say those are pretty darn good. So I'm going to scrape them off in this bowl. And put them in the oven to warm them until we're ready to cut the roast for dinner. Hi guys, welcome back. Our meal is prepared. So I've got my potatoes here. And remember, right before I put them in the oven just to heat, just to keep it warm so everything was done at the same time, I added a little bit extra of my buttermilk to the very top. Probably about 1/4 of a cup. So look at how creamy those look. And now, boom, 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 we have our rib roast. I tinted it with aluminum foil, and I want you to know this bad boy got up to 136 degrees. So thank you, Greg Langen, for my beautiful cut of rib roast. So just make sure, if yours is tied up, just make sure that you take off the ties, or else no one wants to eat that. I left the meat thermometer in because if you pulled it out before it was done, juices would squirt across the room, and I'm not exaggerating. So I'll go ahead and turn this off, and I'm going to pull this out. See, it didn't happen. So that means the meat, the juices in the meat redistributed throughout, and now it's relaxed and it's ready for us to cook. Or to, I'm sorry, cut. So I'm going to go ahead and cut me a steak. Look at that. Ah, look how pretty. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. Mama did good. All right. So we're gonna put this on our platter. And put our meat there. And then go ahead and add the extra juices. Now, it only took about an hour, hour and a half for this whole thing to cook. And the juices, I had 1 cup of beef stock, basically from Langen's Meats, and from my butcher shop. And I'm just gonna, and I had to, you have to keep an eye on it. It's Easter, you can't walk away from it. It's your specialty dinner for your folks. So I kept an eye on it, and then I had to add about 3 cups of water throughout that process of cooking to make sure that didn't, you know, caramelize in the bottom of the pan. So we're just gonna add this. Oh, look at that. A little bit more of the meat. So pretty. Look at this, guys. You can't beat a meal like this. Like I said before, I don't care if you're a single dad. Don't care what your background is. You can do this. You can invite the family over, no matter what your circumstances are, whether you're a new bride, like I said, college grad, single dad, you can do it all. I'm telling you. And look, now you can, because there's no excuse. I'll see you guys next time, and have a happy Easter. Bye-bye.